Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to 1970s goodness and yumminess. In today's video, we are using epoxy resin. I didn't last very long on the Jesmonite because I believe my Jesmonite has gone off. I do need to buy more. I will be back, I promise, with the Jesmonite. The resin we're using in today's video is the Apex resin, and we're doing an experiment today. We are looking at the difference between resin that is poured immediately and resin that has been sitting there quite a while. We're going to be doing a split cup pour. This is the split cup. This is from Let's Resin. They do a pack of 3, I believe, pack of 3 or 4, and they all come with a different amount of sections. We're going 1970s, so I have grabbed the brown, yellow and orange mica powder. Now this is all from a brand that no longer exists, so honestly any brown, yellow and orange will be perfect for your project. The Apex resin, crystal clear as always. I do have my resin on a heat mat, so I don't know if that's made a difference to the way things came out today, but either way it was fun and fabulous. The resin itself is all linked below, like your discount code for Apex is linked below, and Apex do a top coating resin which we'll also be using in today's video, and they ship worldwide. So first up, I've mixed part A, part B, equal amounts into a calibrated cup. It's by volume. I've scraped the edges of the cup and then I put it over onto my Let's Resin mixing machine to do all of the work while I could get ready. Now, I'm using molds from Molds and Shapes. You all know that Molds and Shapes are closing permanently in September. I've even had messages saying, wait, I thought they were just on holiday. I didn't realize they were closing. It's like, no, they're closing. They are currently closed for orders, reopening in July, August, to close finally in September. So if you like any of these molds, get your wish list ready and just be ready to order when they reopen for orders in July, August. Now, at this point, I've just mixed the resin for 5 minutes. I've poured it into 3 separate cups. This is the temperature. It's 34 degrees in each of these cups. Now, this tool really came in handy. I bought one of these a long while ago after seeing Wendy from Toonpish Crafts use it quite a lot for her resin. But it came in super handy in today's video because I was really looking at temperatures. Now, because I'm using the split cup, the yellow is going in the center of the split cup. Thus, I need less resin for the yellow, right? Because that's only got 1 compartment. The orange and the brown have both got 2 compartments. Therefore, there's a little bit more resin in those other cups. Now, first up, the yellow. These colours, guys, I'm loving 70s so much. I was saying to my patrons today over on Patreon, the biggest difficulty I have had with 1970s projects is that my Cricut design space, not mine, but the Cricut design space is really limited for 1970s imagery, 1970s designs, patterns. It really feels limited to me. And that's the only downside. However, we have got Amanda Towgood over at Resin Supplies Den doing UVDTFs. And oh my gosh, guys, let me tell you, she is a superstar because she has come through for me for more and more UVDTFs with 1970s designs. I'm not using them in today's video. Today's video is all about the Cricut design space. Made myself, weeded myself, and all of that jazz. Now, as for the split cup, this is the 5 compartment split cup. Now, on my desk, you can see the round tray mold and the oval tray mold. I do end up taking the round one away. I want like for like, exact the same. So I do end up taking the round one away and replacing it with another oval mold. Luckily, I don't know how I became so blessed, but I do have 2 of these molds. So the split cup again, yellow in the middle, orange, which is kissing against the yellow. What's the word? Hugging the yellow. And then brown, which will be hugging the orange. I've used a split cup several times, but I've never really used it, you know, like I've never used it with the intention of getting the different colors to be separate. And that's what this whole video is about, as well as 70s. I'm doing an experiment. The first split cut is going to be poured immediately, right? So I've just mixed all this resin, added the colors, pouring it into the split cup. As soon as I've done that, we're pouring it into the mold. The second tray we're going to be waiting. We're going to be checking the temperature every 10 minutes or so, 5 minutes or so, until it gets to the optimum temperature, which of course I will show you in the video. We'll look at the temperatures every step of the way. Like right now in the cups, the resin is 37 degrees in the cups. They're the ready mixed cups, right? In the split cup, it's just ever so slightly cooler at 36 degrees because I've poured it out of those cups and it's just a tad cooler because I've poured it. Now, at this point is when I said, no, these trays have to be exact. They have to be identical because we're doing a like for like experiment. So at this point, the resin in the cups have now gone up to 38 degrees and the resin in the split cup is 36 degrees. This is all Celsius. We work in Celsius here in the UK. Don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I am sorry, but Google is your friend. Now, we're ready to pour. We're going for it immediately. I've only just filled the cup up. We're pouring into tray number 1. My expectation from the tray number 1 is that we are going to get an absolutely seamless blend between yellow, orange, brown, right? This is going to be a complete blend. You're not really going to see stripes, lines, or where the colors merge. You're going to see a beautiful blend. Now, at this point, again, we're going back and forth with the temperatures. I'm going to keep you updated on the temperatures. The tray on the right has been poured. We are done. Now, at this point, the resin in the cups has already gone up to 41 degrees Celsius. Now, I Googled, it took me ages. I couldn't quite work out what I was asking Google to tell me. Like, what temperature does the resin need to be to not blend? Like, to give me stripes. I want stripes. What temperature? And of course, it took me so long to get the right wording, to get the answer that I was looking for. So next up, we're pouring all of this epoxy resin into the split cup, and we're just going to let this split cup sit and wait and do absolutely nothing with this split cup apart from take its temperature. Google did finally tell me what I needed to know, and that was 68 degrees is the optimum temperature for your stripes. Anything over 65, to the point where the resin has got so hot it's not going to blend as easily. So I was aiming for anything over 65, and honestly, if I could get it to 68, then I'd be really happy. Anything over 70, 75, then you are risking it going and curing and going exothermic in your cup. So my aim was between 65 degrees and 68. Now, at this point, this tray is 37 degrees. Now, I've poured it. It's a thin layer, so it's not going to be as hot as the deep pour resin, which this currently is in the mix cup. So the mix cup is still coming in at 40, and the tray that I've poured is still 33 degrees. Now, just to make sure that this temperature gauge was working, that was 21 degrees was the worktop, right? I kept giving it to the worktop, like, tell me the temperature of the worktop and I'll believe that you're right. So the worktop is coming up at 21, 24. The split cup is now coming up at 54 degrees. So I still had a little bit of time to wait. I just went downstairs, got some fresh air, came back upstairs and tried again. And that is how the afternoon went. I would say it was about 40 minutes max, until it reached 68 degrees. And I was like, we are ready to pour. I was so excited and so nervous. Equally, I could really feel the difference when I picked the cup up. It felt like jelly as opposed to super runny resin. So again, you can see the one on the right has already blended. It's already done its thing. This one is already so different, so clear. We've got designated zones. We've got clear stripes, yellow, orange, brown, complete separation of colors. It doesn't look anything like tray number 1. Now, I don't know if this was a good thing or not, but I had to do it. I had leftover brown and I hadn't quite filled this tray up, so I did end up pouring that leftover brown around the edge of the tray, which was a similar temperature to the rest of the resin, so I didn't feel so bad. But yeah, hopefully that didn't really, it wasn't detrimental. It was not detrimental to the final. But you can see here now, even since I've poured, the resin has come down 8 degrees. The tray on the right is still only 33 degrees, which is crazy, right? Because I poured it and it's such a thin layer, it's going to take a while now for that to heat up and cure, i.e. overnight. So you can see here, my worktop is 24. The tray on the right's 34, 33. And then the tray on the left has already come down to 54. So like that was 68 degrees. And because I've poured it into such a thin tray, it immediately cooled down. Now 24 hours later, there is a complete and clear difference between both trays. The tray on the right blended, fully blended, as resin does. It draws into the center of the mold. Well, this one didn't. This one didn't because it was so hot and it was poured at 68 degrees. Thus, no movement really, apart from me pouring brown around the edge, which maybe gave me a bit of a but the one on the right, fully blended. In fact, you can barely see the brown on the one on the right. Didn't get much brown in there at all. But the one on the left, like absolute lines. Honestly, I don't even strive for this. I don't like definitive lines. I don't like seeing edges like that, but it was an experiment. I really wanted to play around with the resin. I do prefer this one though. I prefer the blend. I prefer the softness of it all. And yeah, I just love it. I think it looks very tie-dye in a way, and it'd be interesting to see what that looks like in a different capacity. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point, but anyway, I peeled all the edges back. I used my deburring tool to take away all of the sharp edges around the base of the tray. I'm not gonna make you sit through that because bore me later. This is where I went to the Cricut. Now listen, I didn't film this part. I am so sorry. This design is on the Cricut Design Space, made in the 70s. I absolutely love it, and I love that blue running through it. Honestly, gorgeous. Now, lining it up was a whole different ball game. There is a method to lining up multiple layers of resin that are meant to fit inside one another. There is a method, and there are videos on it. However, at the time, I thought, how hard can it be? Turns out I wasn't very good at it. So there are a couple of areas where they did not line up very well at all because I did it all DIY. Now, it says made in the 70s. You can, of course, change that to anything you want. Made in the 80s, you just use different color vinyls, right? Made in the 80s, you can go for your neon vinyls. And I've already got plans, guys, because, oh my gosh, I didn't even think I was going to touch back on the 80s. But I've got something in my head and I think I need to try it. This one did not work at all. I was like, what was I thinking? Why was I going to use orange vinyl on a predominantly orange background? So I went back to the Cricut Design Space. I didn't like the original 70s color scheme. Again, I was just following the colors actually on the Cricut design. But in the end, I thought, the orange is just a bit too... it's not enough, you know. It wasn't enough for me. It was too blendy with the background. So I went back and I cut out just the 70s in the brown and cream. And oh my gosh, I love this design. I wish it was longer and I wish it fit the tray more, but it's all good and I could have done that at a later date. Now this one here, again, I went for brown because I felt like brown was going to show up the most. However, in hindsight, I wish I actually did this in cream, because the cream I feel like really did show up most against these colours. Equally, the 70s was all about that brown and orange, guys. And the irony that chocolate brown is so in fashion right now is so funny. And my school uniform, see those colours, brown and yellow? That exact yellow and that exact brown was my school uniform. If you're watching from outside the UK, all of our schools in the UK have school uniform, right? My primary school was green and white, and my secondary school was yellow and brown. It was vile. Anyway, let's talk about the top coat. I am going to be using the Cure Pro from Apex, a stunning top coat. Again, they ship worldwide, and I'm just at the bottom of the dregs of these bottles, so I have ordered more and that has arrived. It's just, I know that I've got enough left here to use what I need to use. Now, again, it's mixed up 1-to-1, and I did end up putting this through my Let's Resin bubble removing machine. Equally, I know I'm going to use a heat gun to blow this around, so Putting it through your bubble removing machine, if you don't have one, it's really not essential, because if you've got a heat gun, which you should have if you're working with resin, you can just blow it around until you're confident there's no more air bubbles. I was a bit worried I didn't quite have enough resin here, but it did work out, and in the end I ended up picking this tray up and just tilting it slightly to make sure that that resin definitely did go to the ends of the tray. Now, you don't want too much resin, you just want enough to still make it a tray. Now, this is what I mean, I tilted the tray, but I wasn't really watching, and all of a sudden it's pouring out and over the edge. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. I just used a wet wipe with some alcohol to clean up that edge and made sure that there was none dripped over the bottom as well. And then I did the same to the other tray, except I didn't spill this one, and I just used my heat gun to evenly distribute. Now, funnily enough, I like the Made in the 70s one, even though it's got stripes on it. I'm not keen on that non-blend, but because the stripes in the design and the stripes on the tray, I feel like they really work together. I'm not a massive fan of the 70s baby vinyl. I like the tray. I just don't know if I'm a massive fan of the 70s baby vinyl or the colour I chose. But anyway, this is what we're looking like. I absolutely love these. Now, like I said, that design Made in the 70s, you can find that on the Cricut Design Space with 60s, and you can also do it yourself with 80s and just change the vinyl according to the era, according to the decade, right? Now, two things to note here. I really didn't do a very good job. After I poured the resin, I would usually run a microfiber cloth. No, I wouldn't. Guys, I would normally run a micro brush tool or a cocktail stick in and around all of those lips, in and around all of those 90-degree edged lips to ensure no air pockets were caught. And this one time at this one time I didn't do it. I did not remember to do it. So please take away from my videos and be like, oh yeah, definitely got to do that. You've got to do it, because now on both trays, it's not just the one with the thicker resin, it's both trays now have got air pockets around the edges. Nothing compared to the thicker resin though. Like, honestly, that Made in the 70s tray has got a lot more air pockets around the edge because the resin was so thick, right? The 70s baby has got a lot less holes around the edge because of course it was runny. I hope this video has inspired you, and I hope you take something away from it, and I cannot wait to share the next video with you. Like, I am so excited for, yeah. Anyway, I'll say no more. I hope to see you there. If you've enjoyed this, please don't forget to give me a hype. If you've got any hypes left, I really appreciate it, and hit that thumbs up. If you've run out of hypes, I will forever be grateful, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.